Hello, Mike here. Back for another Dark Saviour video log. Cover a couple of things in this. Mainly, the main topic of conversation with this one is the Dezarrakks Flogirl Reluctant Alliance team up that I did. But I need to touch on a couple of other things first, because in a nutshell, I said I'd be aiming for an April release, and it's now May the 3rd for Season 2. And that clearly didn't happen. Few things, work's been, I've had work and counselling sessions and a couple of other things, bad anniversaries, stuff like that. I have been working on Season 2, I've got a lot of work done on Season 2, actually. I'm like halfway through writing Season 3 now. The thing with Season 2 is it introduces new characters, and along the way there is another new voice actors. I've got a couple of friends helping me out with some stuff. Terrania, the female lead in Season 2, is going to be voiced by someone else, not me. I can't put my Betty voice to every female character. My friend Mike's voicing the villain. We've got most of that audio work done. But the lass that voices Terrania, she lives in Canada, she's Canadian, so it's a case of waiting for her stuff to come through. And it's a case, I'm not paying anyone for this shit. I don't get paid for this shit. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the power. No, I'm not. Seriously, it's it's one of those things. It's a hobby. Get it done when you got it done. That's the thing. That's I'm not going to rush anyone for it. There are, I appreciate everybody that steps in and does this stuff for me. It's good to have a team saviour off camera as well as on camera, and it's a team thing. It's building a team not just within the series, but behind the scenes as well. And I like that. It's cool. It's something to share with other people, like my son's mother, who plays the Flogirl character. She created the Flogirl character. It's her character. Technically, it's SOEs, no DVGs character, but shut up. So yeah, basically, I'm waiting on stuff from other people. Got most of it done. I mean, they're waiting on stuff from me as well, because I've got still some more dialogue I need to write. I've done some of the Season 2 premiere. I've got the dialogue from most of it from Alex, her stuff for the Season 2 premiere. My stuff is recorded. There's just the fight dialogue that I need to get done, which is usually one of the last things I do. I've wrote episode 2 for season. I've wrote 2. Haven't recorded anything for it yet. That involves Alex and Zoe and myself, of course. 2-3 debuts Dash Tracker. It also brings in Agent Thomas. Alex is in that one as well. Terrania. 2-4 Cougar Man. There's not a lot for Alex to do in that one, so I've already edited some of episode 4 and some of episode 3. Audio's done for episode 5, so I just need to record that, because that doesn't actually have a mission involved. That's a PvP thing, so it's a case of I've got to make sure that me and my friend, the villain of the story, can have our fight uninterrupted. When I was talking about Steel Saviour, I've mentioned it briefly. It's the US PC Dezarrakks. There is a multiverse in play. There will be very soon. I've actually finished Steel Saviour 1. That is done and alright. Bit of a lag there. I was like, that wasn't a lag, I was doing the lag.
I've actually finished that, but I can't upload it because there's certain things in the Steel Saviour film that would spoil season 2 if I put it up first. So I'm going to put it up at the end of season 2, and then it'll make more sense, hopefully, for everybody. Steel Saviour is actually going to be, at the moment, a quadrilogy. I've got 5 6 Steel Saviour related things to go. There's like 4 main Steel Saviour movies that I've got, because it isn't episodic, it's more of a movie type thing. There will be a Steel Saviour Dark Saviour crossover, and there will also be a 3-part story in a future season of Dark Saviour where Dark Saviour Dezarrakks finds himself trapped in the Steel Saviour universe. I'm waiting for crossplay. I really fucking want crossplay to come last week, because another character that will be introduced in Dark Saviour Season 2 is Burn Unit. But it's not Burn Unit, it's Burn Unit. It's basically the EU PC version of Burn Unit. He does his stories on the DCUO forum, and he's got his Burn Unit that takes place inside the DCUO universe, and then he's got his Burn Unit that takes place outside the DCUO universe. I also have a Dezarrakks that takes place outside the DCUO universe. Basically, my Champions Online Dezarrakks. That is the Dezarrakks that I would... That's probably more my real-world Dezarrakks than the DCUO Dezarrakks. So, he works on his Burn Unit stories, and I've added him, the Dark Saviour universe, Burn Unit, into my story. It's not a big role, because there are other characters I want to focus on, but I do like the work that Burn Unit does, and I do like working with him. I write the scripts, and he gives me input, and I run the stuff by him, and he'll tell me, and I do the voice work. I voice Burn Unit in this, and apparently the voice work, he likes it, so, you know. Yeah, that's exciting, but I actually want to do a story with the real Burn Unit, which would be the one on the US PlayStation server. That's why I want crossplay. The Burn Unit, the main Burn Unit, the prime Burn Unit, if you will, would be the Burn Unit of the Steel Saviour universe. Should crossplay happen, because the US servers will be able to play together. So that's exciting. I want that to happen. There's another guy on the US PlayStation servers called the Figment. He's just released an episode earlier, a few weeks ago. He's working on his. He's up for a crossover, and so we've got like this potential for our own little all-star team up, our own little DCUO cinematic multiverse, if you will, which this started out as a little project for me to showcase what I was doing, and I never realised it would get to a point where people actually wanted to work with me. It's quite an honour, actually. But that's to come down the line. We've got an EU Burn Unit in play, just to throw Burn Unit in there. And the whole point of this crossover thing where Dezarrakks end up in the Steel Saviour universe was so I could work with Burn Unit, and possibly the Figment. However, while waiting for crossplay, I came upon the realisation that I may need to extend my own cast. So, certain characters in the Dark Saviour universe, their counterparts will show up in Steel Saviour episodes. So, there's a lot going on both sides.
But yeah, I'm aiming for season 2 to launch this month in May. I know I said April, but stuff got in the way. I'm closer to it now. I'm pretty much ready to drop the first episode. I just need to edit the rest of it together and stuff. Still a good bit to do, but I can usually get an episode edited within a couple of days if all the stars align. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Like I said, there's still other stuff from the later episodes in season 2 that I can get cracking with while I'm waiting. But let's go back a bit to Dezarrakks Flogirl Reluctant Alliance. The idea I had for the team-ups, it kind of comes from the whole... When I was writing it, and when I had the idea for these team-ups, I was thinking, the Batman-Superman Public Enemies thing. Something along those lines. Not the story's completely different, but I wanted to do like team ups, like a world's finest sort of thing. Flogirl and Altari are the co-founders of my Justice Realm League on DCUO. It's something that I'm building towards the Justice Realm. Haven't introduced Altari yet. And they were my co-founders. I've changed my rank on the league page to founder, and set their rank as co-founder, because I prefer that to leader, and I think they prefer it to leader as well. So, of course, the thing is, the three of us set that up, but there are other characters coming in before Altari that would technically, within the series, be classed as founders. There's Dad Taylor, for a start, who I only actually created as a mule to hold all my extra R&D shit and bits that I didn't want in my inventory or bank. There's Terrania, there's Dash Tracker, there's Cougarman. Then there's got characters that will come in before Altari. But yeah, Altari is a co-founder within the league, and he'll play a bigger role than the other characters, like Terrania or Dash Tracker or Cougarman. Cougarman's got his own show, so that separates him from it. But Altari will play a bigger role in the Dark Saviour series, so he will be able to lay his claim to a co-founder status more. So the story, you see Dezarrakks is fighting some Oolong guys near his new base. He's still got his old house in Gotham. He still operates mainly in Gotham, but there will be a lot more Metropolis going forward. Plus a couple of Oolongs. Mainly, the reason I did that was just two reasons, really. Was just so I could showcase his updated outfit with his Retrotech belt and his Jack Ear shoulder guards. I'm probably the only person in the entire world who likes those Jack Ear shoulder guards. So yeah, it was just to showcase that outfit, the upgrades to his outfit before he switched to his outfit for the rest of the episode. The base in in Metropolis, and also I threw in the Dark Saviour music, the Batman Arkham City, if you're going to get technical. Just because I use a different music for the start, but I use the Arkham Origin music for the title sequence, made it a bit more cinematic and stuff, and it kind of worked. Everyone liked it. Even that title sequence, the whole open intro part, there's like Bradley's mum picks up the landlady's kids from school, and they watched it, and one of them was like, "That's epic," and that was just the intro sequence. And so yeah, that kind of drove me to do it. I wanted it to have a more cinematic feel, without using the cinematic editing thing, visual effect. Um, so yeah, it was just, you know, I threw that bit in at the start just to remind viewers that it is still Dark Saviour. It's the Dark Saviour Dezarrakks. This isn't an Elseworlds thing like Steel Saviour or anything else like that. And then he goes back to the base. The Metropolis base it is the same place where Dezarrakks and Agent Thomas were in the Metropolis episode, both in story and out story. Out story, it was the same base that I used. In story, you know, Dezarrakks had just come off helping Batman in the Batcave and stuff, and you know, maybe Batman pulled some strings with Steel and was able to acquire that base for Dezarrakks and let him use it, because maybe the scientists still operate there. But I kind of like wanted to go with the base tour as well. So you had Dad showing them around the little med bay at the front, which wasn't the case in Metropolis. I did a lot of, you know, those hospital base items and stuff that dropped in the marketplace happened after the Metropolis episode, so I picked up some of them and I just basically modded the base. So you've got a big med section at the front with all the hospital beds and the monitors and stuff like that. And you go into the back where I've left the R&D station, pretty much the same. And downstairs is the conference room with the sparring target. I didn't show upstairs because that's got armourers with the suits in that haven't been shown in the episode yet. I don't want to be too spoilery and stuff. So I think those armourers contain outfits that aren't going to be used for a while. I'll just say that. So, yeah, the sparring target. That was actually a typo that I did. At first, Dad calls him Roger, and then Dezarrakks calls him Stan, and then Dad calls him Steve. I meant to write Roger again, but you know, I was thinking American Dad with the name Roger, Stan, and Steve. I don't know why. But I wrote it in a Steve, and then Zoe was reading through it because obviously she's part of the script, and she's like Steve, and I read it and I thought, I'm going to fucking keep that, and I'm probably going to make it a running joke that every time I see that sparring, I mean I have made it a running joke that other names will pop in, and the sparring dummy will be called something else each time, because I'm weird like that. So yeah, one thing that was picked up on was my little cheeky remark about water powers, and I think I did that well, and I did it in a way that wasn't insulting to the game developers or anything like that. It's not like I went on a full-on bitch moan rant about the fact that there's no water powers, because it was just, you know, it's subtle. And even then, I had Dad say, you know, don't bite the hand that feeds you, and stuff. So it was one of those things, you know, that I didn't want it to come across as like I was taking a major stab at the devs for it. And then because I've got no problem with there being no water powers. I don't know why. Maybe it is the mechanics and stuff that is the major issue. I don't know why there's no water power set. I don't mind that there's no water power set. I don't mind that there's no hope set. It's, you know, I was having fun with it. That's all it was. And you know, Dad wasn't actually Dad, because I've got my two Dezarrakks characters. I've got the main Dezarrakks, and I've got the body double Dezaras on my secondary account, so I can use two characters at the same time. But Dezaras doesn't have the full outfit that Dezarrakks wore into battle. He's missing the kabuki shoulders. Got everything but the kabuki shoulders. And so I had to actually dress Dad up just so I could have Dezarrakks. I had to dress someone else up as Dad just so I could have Dezarrakks in the kabuki shoulders in scenes with Dad. Bit of a ball ache sometimes. I even duoed it with myself a couple of times to try and get them. It didn't work. So yeah, I used Cougarman's butler, Quentin Bond, dressed him up as Dad, and made sure that he wasn't airborne or anything, because Dad's acrobat with a bow and arrow, and Quentin's skimming with a shotgun in his tux. So yeah, that was one of the things I had to overcome. It wasn't a ball ache, it wasn't an issue. I mean, I think at the minute Quentin Bond is still dressed as Dad. It's no different to when I used Agent Thomas as Randolph in Dark Saviour Rises for that flashback. But yeah, bringing Flogirl. I've voiced Dean, the robot. I wanted to have a bit of a different dynamic with Dezarrakks and Flogirl. She clearly doesn't like the guy. He's trying to be all pleasant and polite, but he's got a short fuse. It's like me, he's got a short fuse. Why she doesn't like him, we'll find out. That will happen in season 2. It's no, she's hostile towards him. They can communicate and operate well as a unit. In the OMAC base, they pulled the resources, so to speak. They work together well. They did do well together. And for most of the battle, they were on the same page. It's just, after the battle, when, there's nothing on the line and the mission's done, or before the mission's done, and, there's some kind of issue there that it will be touched upon in future episodes. But the thing is, it won't be a long-lasting hostility. It will just be a case of you'll find out why, and then there'll be a bit of, I don't know. She's in episode 2, Flogirl is. You find out why in episode 2, then you don't see her again until the Search for the Saviour trilogy that I've got between season 2 and 3. I'm not even going into that now. But at that point, that shit will be resolved. As for the fight itself, I wanted to try and capture it from both sides. By that I mean Dezarrakks and Flogirl, not Dezarrakks and the OMACs. That ain't happening. So I wanted to try and capture it from her perspective as well as mine. And that was one of those things where I actually ended up playing the OMAC duo 3 times. Because I played it once, we did a quick playthrough. It was okay. Forgot to take my bow in though. Didn't have my bow in my inventory, so we had to play it twice more. And the first time, because I didn't have dual, her PC doesn't have the recording software, and I don't think it could handle the recording software because it can hardly handle the game at the minute. So basically, I played on my PC and we played, and I recorded it on my PC from Dezarrakks' perspective. Then we switched, and I played as Flogirl on my PC and we recorded it from her perspective. 2 different missions, and we had to try and make it mesh and gel together. There was only one thing where it didn't look linear, where it looked a bit off. It was only a minor thing, it was just that one area. The main problem was the end fight with the OMAC Delta and all that shit at the end. Because my fight, I was fucking bouncing, this is stupid, on the fucking electric floor panels. And when I played it as her, when she was controlling Dezarrakks, didn't go anywhere near it. She was, and the OMAC Delta was bouncing on the, this is stupid. I hate that Delta's voice, it just sounds so eliminating, peaceably. I will do things that aren't very nice. Fucking hate it. So yeah, the final battle was all from my perspective, but where I could, I tried to mix and match stuff. Like the bit at the beginning where the first bit with the first nanosynth, and that right before you face the incinerator, the fucking targeting. That, you know, I targeted someone on the other side of those steps that are going down that crash bridge, and I'm fucking fighting under this twatting bridge, swiping at nothing with me axes under a bridge. So yeah, I used her perspective shots for that, including the bit when I get encased in ice and I roll off screen like that. Fucking stupid. And we couldn't even mix and match that, because when we fought the incinerator the first time, the incinerator was from my perspective, but the first bit was from her perspective. We fought the incinerator, and it was like it was in the middle. We fought him the first time. Second time, it's somehow gone to the left, so we couldn't even mix that up. But you know, for the most part, it worked. Right now, I do actually have 2 PCs with OBS on. The visual quality on the second PC isn't as good, but it's not noticeable. It is if you're looking for it. And with it being my project and me being the pedantic bastard that I am, I find myself looking for it. No one else seems to notice. But I'm just like, yeah, but look at that. And they're like, yeah, and? But that! And it's just, I'm a perfectionist. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But yeah, the first battle of season 2, Dezarrakks and Terrania's first mission together. That's all from my perspective, because I didn't have the 2 PCs at the time, and I didn't. Not going to say I bitched out and said that I didn't want to put all that effort into it, but I put extra effort into the Dezarrakks Flogirl one because it was a one-shot thing. I wanted to put more effort into it. Standard Dark Saviour episode, less effort would go into that, but not to the point where I cheaped out. However, the fight is all from Dezarrakks' perspective, but I've tried to work it so I can let Terrania get some stuff in there as well. Having said that, the Cougar Man and Dezarrakks team up and the Dash Tracker and Dezarrakks team up have been recorded from both sides. And the Flogirl Terrania team up probably will be as well. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. I mean, you know, at the end they parted ways. They completed their mission, they parted ways. It does leave Dezarrakks with the whole issue of whether he's a likeable person. And that's one of the things I do like to... It's about identity. Not so much secret identity, but it's about identity in the sense that, you know, he starts off the first couple of episodes in season 1, and Mike isn't different to Dezarrakks, save for the voice modulator in episode 2. He's still throwing out his, as Dad would say, bitches and bitches comments. That's the thing now, apparently, bitches and bitches. That's how I differentiate, that's how I describe Dezarrakks. And when I'm talking about, oh, bitches and bitches comments, episode 3 was where he had to try and be different, because he had to talk to Agent Thomas. He had to deal with the public, an ally, as Mike and as Dezarrakks. And so there was a case of he's got to be different as Dezarrakks than he is as Mike. And in episode 4 and episode 5, it was kind of a case of he was more Dezarrakks than he was Mike. And it was like he was taking that persona and he was going into it in full throttle. And when he was in battle, even though the only people he was communicating with was his dad and his sister, he didn't have to be as Dezarrakks-like because he was only communicating with them. But he still went there, and he was still more Dezarrakks than Mike. And then he meets Flogirl, and he was more Dezarrakks towards Flogirl, but he was Mike in the sense that she was being hostile to him, so he immediately was hostile back. But he was hostile in the Dezarrakks way, not in the Mike way. Mike might have been, oh, fuck you, bitch. But Dezarrakks was like proper laying in, hammering in, the importance of his mission and stuff. Which, both sides of that persona are about the mission, but he is more about the mission when he's under the hood. And, it's a case of, it's like what Dad said, maybe he needs to dial it down a little bit. Try and find some middle ground. He can't just be all stoic and stern to everybody, and he might come across as a bit of a dick. He will come across as a bit of a dick, especially when he meets Flogirl again. But you'll see him with Terrania, and he'll be, I won't say more Mike than Dezarrakks. I think he finds the balance with Terrania. And I think he'll have the balance with Dash Tracker as well. He'll lose that balance with Cougar Man. And he will... But the thing with Cougar Man is, even Mike seems more like Dezarrakks with Cougar Man, because that's just the way Cougar Man's character is, and it probably will shine a different light on Mike's civilian persona because of the way Cougar Man is. And then the season finale for that is, well, I'm not even going to go there. Not yet, anyway. But I think I've said all I have to say about that. It's been a 32-minute video log so far. Then again, the episode was about 45 minutes long, so a lot to cover. I think I've covered everything. If there's any questions, leave a comment. Yeah, pretty much it. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go learn how to talk properly. Then I'm gonna go and record more audio. I will probably I won't be uploading this before the season 2 premiere because I just want to get something out there before I can start season 2. So I'll probably get this out within the next week or so, and then I'll probably record another one after, going into more detail about season 2. Even though I probably don't need to because I've covered everything. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see how it goes. I've been Dezaras Prime. You've been my audience, and you shall see me next time.